resilient Jenkins would rather go live in a hotel room with their 5 kids rather than leaving Drew and going to stay with Stephanie's mom. Stephanie's mom has been all over TikTok talking about this whole situation. You can clearly see how this is affecting her mother. And what everybody is saying is that Stephanie just doesn't want to be held accountable by her mother. And her mom has even said that if she and Drew do not want to come but wants to bring the kids, that they can. And she said that she would even take Deshaun, which is Drew's son. Now, apparently, about Drew's son, Deshaun, Stephanie's mom says that they lied from the beginning about his mom abandoning him years before that they got together. And I think that's really shitty to tell a child that their mother abandoned them and she didn't. She's actually trying to get him.
Alright, let's talk about the Jenkins situation because things just took a serious turn. And not in a good way. The eviction they were desperately trying to avoid. Yeah, it finally happened. Stephanie, Drew, and their 4 children are now crammed into a single hotel room, while all their belongings sit in a storage unit. And here's the kicker. Stephanie actually had an option. She could have moved in with her mother, given her children a stable home, and started afresh. But she turned that offer down. Why? Because Drew wasn't welcome? That's right. She chose to stick by her man even if it meant making life significantly harder for her kids. And look, I understand that relationships are complicated. But at what point do you stop prioritizing a grown man who refuses to step up and start focusing on the well-being of your children? Let's break down this situation step by step because there's a lot to unpack here. Stephanie knew this was coming. The eviction notice had been served and they had weeks, if not months, to prepare. But guess when she actually started packing? The night before. Almost like she was holding out for some last-minute miracle, as if ignoring reality would somehow make it go away. She didn't just delay the inevitable. She documented it. She even filmed herself stuffing boxes in panic, her youngest baby strapped to her chest, lifting heavy furniture with an exhausted, frantic energy. All alone. It was like watching someone desperately trying to outrun a storm that had been forecasted for months. And Drew? Nowhere in sight. Well, except for that brief moment when he appeared in the background, still wearing his gaming headsets, casually oblivious to the chaos unfolding around him. Let that sink in. They're literally getting kicked out of their home, their entire world being upended, and he's still glued to his PlayStation, as if none of it is his concern. No urgency, no accountability, just a man more invested in his kill streak than the fact that his family is about to be homeless.
Stephanie has already made it very clear that they all will be going to a hotel instead of getting help from her mom. And if you haven't been keeping up, Stephanie's mom has already said that she would help her and the kids, but she will not help Drew. And because of that, Stephanie would rather basically be homeless, living in a hotel and getting a storage unit instead of taking her kids to her mom's where there's warm beds and all that. Her mom also said that she's trying to get custody of Stephanie's kids. If you have not heard, I was looking through her comments on her videos and she said that she is trying to get custody of those kids. I'm not even kidding. And we only know so much between Stephanie and her mom, but I feel like when it comes down to homelessness and children, those children come first, and that's the fucking part that everybody is missing and why we talk about them so much. Stephanie does not ever put those kids first, and y'all are letting that shit slide.
And let's be clear, this didn't happen because of some sudden financial crisis. There was no unexpected job loss, no catastrophic medical bills. They knew the deadline, they had time, and yet neither of them took the necessary steps to secure a new place in time. Stephanie couldn't afford the rent, and since their only source of income is TikTok, they had no financial safety net, no savings, no backup plan, just vibes and wishful thinking. But you know what could have helped? If Drew had a job, if he had even attempted to contribute financially instead of costing on Stephanie's internet fame, maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't be in this situation. But that would require effort, and effort isn't exactly Drew's strong suit. Stephanie claims Drew has a health condition that prevents him from working, and while she hasn't disclosed the details, let's be real, this excuse doesn't exactly hold up.
The whole situation is heartbreaking for those children. Don't get it twisted. I do not at all feel bad for Stephanie and Drew. I actually think they deserve a lot worse, especially after just dumping their cats outside, you know? That's great. That's great for the cats and it's great for the environment. Also shows a lot of empathy, doesn't it? It really shows that Stephanie and Drew just bursting with empathy, huh? But the only thing that really matters in this conversation is not how bad Stephanie is, what a terrible person she's choosing to be, what a terrible mother she's choosing to be. We already know that Drew is a bad person. It's the kids. Yeah, the kids are the ones who are going to pay the price for this, one way or the other. Either, they have to suffer and live in a hotel room with two people who are not going to do the work to take care of them. Like, let's just not even play about that. Let's not pretend that this is going to be what lights a fire under Stephanie's ass. If eviction itself did not light a fire under her ass to change anything, the actual act of eviction, her going to live in a hotel room, not going to change anything for her or Drew. But those kids, it's going to affect them every single day because Stephanie is not going to do what it takes to take care of those children in that environment. It's so much harder, and she can't even do the basics when she's got it easy. She's not going to do right by them when things get tough. She's going to be the checkout mom, And it's kids, right? They're going to get all the trauma from this. They might end up getting taken away. They might get separated from their siblings. I'm guessing, unless the hotel is in the same area, they probably won't even get to go to school now and see their friends in the same schools. And they're in, like, key developmental moments. I don't think you guys understand this. Her children, the ages that they're in, where their brains are at, this is going to scar them for life. And again, trauma is brain damage. It damages your brain and it hinders your brains.
Before Stephanie went viral with that family of 6 in one bedroom apartment video, Drew actually had a part-time job. But once the TikTok money started rolling in, he quit. And it wasn't for health reasons, no. He and Stephanie admitted in a live stream that Drew simply didn't want to work low-paying jobs. He felt like he deserved better. He spoke about how he wasn't going to waste his time working for minimum wage, how he had bigger plans, and how he wanted to build something for himself. But those plans, they never materialized. There was no side hustle, no business venture, no real attempt to create something sustainable, just an endless cycle of hoping.
I've been getting this really eerie thought in my head about Andrew. What if Andrew isn't working because he can't work? And what if the can't work isn't a physical thing? What if it's because he can't pass a certain test? Because remember, he was in rehab for using. And again, people can change, people can do whatever. A lot of people do relapse. It happens. And the fact that he's so chill and so zoomed in on the game and so just not present, just out of it, what if it's because he's on something? And what if that's why Stephanie keeps on trying to protect him and carry his weight and take the blame for everything? Because she knows he quite literally cannot do anything. And then one may ask, okay, well then why don't you just go work then? Let him do whatever he's doing. Why don't you go work? It's probably because she knows that he cannot literally take care of the kids by himself.
Stephanie's internet fame would be enough to keep them afloat. And now, suddenly, we are supposed to believe that he's physically incapable of working. And here's another detail people often overlook. Drew has a son from a previous relationship, a son he refuses to support. The moment the court started garnishing his wages for his child support, Drew conveniently stopped working altogether. 10 years. That's how long he's been dodging financial responsibility for his first child. And it wasn't just about money. He also stopped being present in his son's life. No visits, no check-ins, just complete avoidance. And now, history is repeating itself with Stephanie and her kids. He's not just failing as a provider, he's failing as a father, period. This isn't new for Drew. Getting evicted is particularly his way of life. Before Stephanie, he lived with his son, but he still couldn't keep up with rent. Time and time again, he has relied on others to house him, never fully taking responsibility of his own living situation. It's a recurring theme in his life, finding temporary shelter, failing to contribute financially, and inevitably getting kicked out when things fall apart. In 2018, he got kicked out and took to Facebook posting, "Illegally evicted. Me and my son out here, no clothes, no blankets, no pillow, no nothing. Do nowhere to go. Looking for a room to rent or something till I get our own place." Then again in 2020, "Anyone have a spare room or something me and my son can stay in? I have a little bit of money." A little bit of money? The same cycle? Over and over again, he moves in with a woman, they struggle financially, and eventually he gets kicked out. The pattern is undeniable. And the most frustrating part, he never seems to learn. Instead of working towards financial independence or stability, he keeps repeating the same mistake, expecting different results. Even the one-bedroom apartment he and Stephanie were living in wasn't really his. It was government-subsidized housing meant for single fathers, a rare opportunity to establish a secure home for himself and his son. But instead of maintaining that stability, he made reckless decisions. He moved in a woman with 2 kids and 2 more children into the mix and let the entire situation spiral out of control. Rather than stepping up, finding additional income, and at least attempting to create a more stable environment, he allowed history to repeat itself, and once again, he got evicted.
Excuse the fuck out of me. My manifestation worked. I got my man.
I think you were playing with a voodoo doll. I don't think you manifested nothing. I don't even know if you know how to manifest. Okay, and I'm not trying to be mean, but if you manifested and got that, I feel sorry for you. And you think he's just a prize-winning piece. You're my man. Are we looking at the same man? Because that is not a turn-on whatsoever. Seeing the way he treated you, the way he makes you do everything. And if you want to do that for the rest of your days, that is fine by me, but I can't sit around and watch it. Girl, you deserve the world, and he is giving you nothing but garbage.
This isn't just bad luck, it's a clear pattern of irresponsibility. Drew has never had to face real consequences because there's always someone willing to pick up the pieces for him. But how long can that last? At some point, the cycle has to break. The question is, will it happen before he drags yet another family down with him? Now, this is where things get frustrating. Stephanie's family wasn't turning their back on her. Her mother, Marie, made it very clear Stephanie and her kids were welcome to stay with her. But Drew, not so much. And that was a deal breaker for Stephanie. She went online claiming her family had abandoned her, spinning the narrative that painted her as a victim and left nowhere to turn.
What would the plan be if you guys don't find housing? Okay, I don't know of another plan besides getting a hotel and getting a storage unit, because even the fact that I have 4 siblings who have housing out here and a mother, not one of them have offered for us to stay with them until we figure out some kind of situation. Nor would I even want to stay with any of them, because they haven't been here through any of this shit, okay? That's just my siblings and my family. The situation was reversed, they would be receiving support from me, and that's how it's always been.
But the truth, her mother had spent over a year without seeing her grandkids and hadn't even met her youngest grandchild. Yet despite the distance and the complicated history, Maurice was still willing to open up doors, providing a stable home where the children could finally have some security.
I've seen it firsthand. I worked as a domestic violence advocate. I know it doesn't happen overnight. Anyhow, I haven't said a lot because I don't want my words to get twisted and for it to drive an even deeper wedge between me and Stephanie. I hope at some point our relationship can be reconciled and we can move past this. And I haven't seen my grandkids in over a year. I have a new grandbaby who I've only seen on social media when other people post videos of my grandbaby. The whole situation is heartbreaking and I have no other words to say about it. But I've been asked and I've decided just to at least clear the air a little bit. Anyhow, I am here for Stephanie. But make no mistake, I have absolutely no room in my heart, in my home, or anywhere in my I just can't even go there. Drew's not welcome here. He's not welcome here.
And how did Stephanie react? She lashed out, calling her mother toxic and manipulative. She even went as far as to compare her to an ex, claiming she couldn't let her back in because of past wounds.
It's move-out day tomorrow, and in case you didn't catch on, we did not find a place, so we will be going to a hotel and getting a storage unit. And fuck no, I will not be taking my mom up on her offer on me and my kids going to stay with her. That is just not gonna happen. That lady popping up right now, it sickens me, honestly. And that's all I'm saying about that, because a part of me that's healed on everything that she brought on my past just does not want to spend any time on her. She gets absolutely no time of day from me. And that is for me to decide. It's not up to a bunch of strangers to decide what I should and shouldn't forget from a past you weren't even there for.
But let's be real, Stephanie's anger wasn't about her mother's supposed toxicity. It was about one thing, Marie's refusing to house Drew. Rather than accepting an opportunity to give her kids a no more structured home, Stephanie made a choice, an irrational and reckless one. She opted for a cramped hotel room over a safety of a family home, willingly subjecting her children to instability, discomfort, and uncertainty. A hotel where every night costs money they don't have, where there is no sense of permanence, and where the stress of not knowing what comes next is an everyday reality. And with no clear plan for the future, the question isn't just about where they'll go when the hotel money runs out. It's bigger than that. What lesson is Stephanie teaching her kids? That keeping an unemployed man happy is worth more than their security? That pride and stubbornness are more important than their well-being? Because if she doesn't wake up soon, they are going to learn the hard way, and they'll be the ones paying the price for her decisions. This isn't just about the eviction, it's about the ongoing choices Stephanie keeps making. Choices that seem to defy logic and prioritize an unworthy relationship over her children's future. She is willing to endure struggle after struggle, dragging her kids through instability, ignoring clear warning signs, and rejecting genuine help, all to cling to a man who brings absolutely nothing to the table. A man with a history of financial irresponsibility, a track record of eviction after eviction, and absolutely no ambition to change. And it's not just about the living situation. Think about the kids. They are growing up in a constant state of uncertainty, moving from place to place, not knowing where exactly they will sleep next, never feeling a sense of security. They're witnessing their mother choosing a failing relationship over their well-being, in not internalizing the idea that dysfunction is normal. At what point does Stephanie realize that this instability is shaping their entire worldview? That the longer she stays tied to Drew, the more damage she's doing to their emotional and mental development. There is a way out of this. She could take her kids, move in with her mom, and start rebuilding a life of stability. She could take advantage of housing programs designed to help single mothers in crisis. She could even seek community resources that would provide the support she needs to get back on her feet. But none of that will happen as long as she continues to make Drew her priority. As long as he's in the picture, stability will always be out of reach, and the cycle of instability will continue, hurting not just her, but the innocent children who rely on her to make the right choices. So what do you think? Is Stephanie simply blinded by love? Is she afraid to be alone? Or is she so deep into this mess that she can't even see how bad it's gotten? Maybe she genuinely believes things will get better. Or maybe she's holding on to the hope that Drew will change, despite all evidence to the contrary. Let's talk about it in the comments. Do you think she'll ever walk away? Or is she stuck in a cycle that she can't just break? And if you want to stay updated on this saga, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because something tells me this story is far from over.